we will be covering the foundations of this institute, then moving over to the instructors who will be who you will be interacting with on a regular basis, then moving on to the agenda for the entire certification, the entire training program, the 8 modules, like how they will be laid out, the different things that we'll be covering in each. So we'll be touching upon that, and then the entire scope of the certification. So in terms of the logistics, like how long will each module going to be, and exactly what kind of data sets we will be covering, and exactly what we'll be learning in each one of our modules. And towards the end of the orientation presentation, we'll also be telling you a little bit more about the people who are involved behind our organization, FTI, uh, our advisors, our directors, and we'll also provide you towards the end of the orientation an opportunity to ask questions and also to interact with your other colleagues, your other classmates, and your instructors directly. So let's move on. Um, okay, right. So basically, a little bit about FTI. So my name is Konain Qurban, and I'm the founder of Frontier Technology Institute. And this institute, we laid the foundations of a little over a year ago. And the objective of setting up this institute was to provide skill-based education, skill-based learning, skill-based trainings to professionals as well as graduates of recent graduates. And the whole idea behind setting up this institute was, or to provide this kind of training, skill-based training, is that we saw that there was a particular kind of requirement uh, that was sourced from the industry and the kind of graduates that were being produced. There was significant gap in terms of the kind of talent that the industry was seeking and the kind of talent that the universities were producing. And particularly, we decided to focus on data science, analytics, business intelligence to be our forte, because we realized that with the amount of data that organizations are producing on a regular basis, it only makes sense for us to train the interested individuals with the right kind of skill set, with the right kind of talent, so that once they join the organizations, they are able to better guide the organizations in terms of driving their data strategy. So we started off by offering, our first service offering was on data science. So far up till today, we have graduated 4 cohorts of our data science certification. We have trained about 60 plus people. Majority of them have been industry professionals, and a lot of the students who were part of our data science certification ended up getting jobs within the domain of data science or analytics. So it was only uh, fair for us to look further or explore further deep in this domain, and therefore we, after having spoken with a few of our advisors as well as a few of our industry partners, we realized that there has been, or there is, a considerable need for business intelligence to be introduced as a department um, within the organizations. And upon speaking with the organizations, we realized that there's not enough talent that the organizations can find on a regular basis to fulfill their BI requirement. And therefore, we thought that it would only make sense for us to put together a robust hands-on training program that caters specifically to the BI requirements of the industry. And therefore, upon like our few months effort, we were able to successfully launch today our first ever business intelligence training program. So BI, just simply speaking, it's an imperative technology for the global industry, and it involves the use of historic and real-time data to drive insights for enhancing like business KPI performance. I mean, this is just a brief overview of BI. More on this, you will get to know when I pass on to our instructor Danyyal, who's with us today. But really, like BI is something that industry has realized that it can add significant value to their business processes, and it can enable them to make effective executive level decision making efficiently. So really, the mission and the vision of our institute, FTI, is to become the premier data science institute in Pakistan. And really, by that we mean that we want to offer the highest quality skill-based education and training within the domain of data science, business intelligence, and analytics. And really, we see ourselves as eventual uh, eventually bridging the gap between the industry and the academics through our skill-based training programs, such as data science program and our existing BI program. Moving on, the training faculty. So this is, I would say, one of the most important, integral, and one of our marquee features of our training program is our training faculty. So we have been lucky enough, fortunate enough to partner with Danyyal Ahmed Khalid. I would like him to introduce himself later on, but just briefly touching upon his profile. He is one of the finest BI experts that we were able to uh, find after having gone through multiple people, multiple resumes, and interviewing a lot of people. Danyyal is currently working at a US-based fintech, and he has previously served in various different BI capacities at an MNC in Pakistan called ICI, and he's a graduate of NUST, and he's a computer science major, and and his expertise is in business intelligence. So it really adds significant value when it comes to teaching a BI program, because he has the intuitive knowledge because through his work experience, and then he also has the computer science background to back up all the proofs or all the logic behind why is something happening in BI. So more on Danyyal and his background later in our presentation today. So facilitating Danyyal will be our teaching assistant Sarah Mean, and Sarah Mean basically will also be the point of contact between you, the students, and the instructors. The purpose of having a TA for your program is because we have felt through our data science programs that students have a lot of queries on an intermittent basis. So we only thought it would make sense to have a teaching assistant who can facilitate or who can address the queries of the students on an ongoing basis while the instructor is not available. And Sarah Mead herself, she is a very distinguished personality. She is currently working as an assistant manager at Ernst& Young in Pakistan, and she has considerable experience. I would say about 2+ years of experience working within the domain of business intelligence. She has worked on multiple industry projects thanks to her role working at KPMG in London and working at Ernst& Young in Karachi. And she's a graduate of economics uh, and social policy from the London School of Economics. Unfortunately, due to some personal reasons, she won't be able to join us just for the first 2 sessions, but she will be joining us and introducing herself and interacting with you guys from our next weekend session. Moving on, like I mentioned earlier, our board of directors comprise of people from different geographies. And the purpose of having such a diverse board is so that we can constantly enhance our training programs based on what's going on worldwide. Because we feel that business intelligence, data science, and its respective domains, they're constantly evolving, and they're very unconventional subjects. Like, you can't study them from a textbook, so you can only study them or you can only learn them through hands-on practice, and also through going through multiple case studies and doing projects. And as you know, like, since a few of us have joined, a few of you guys who work already in the industry, you would know that data is constantly evolving, and therefore our course should also be constantly evolving. So therefore, having a diverse board who can provide us with the constant advice in terms of what's happening in the industry, and what new additional concepts can we also include as part of our training, has really helped us to evolve our both our data science program, as well as shall help our evolve our business intelligence program. So our board has had a significant contribution in terms of deciding, what shall be the modus operandi of the business intelligence course, and also identifying the key areas of focus that we would like to teach you guys. So starting from myself, I have worked in the field of AI and data science, but in strategy as well as in consulting practice um, for the last about 4.5 years. And I've also worked in banking as an M&A analyst for about a year. And I am a graduate of Columbia University, and I did my master's in applied maths from there. Moving on, our managing director, she is currently working. I mean, this is a little old. I mean, she's now the head of AI and cognitive practice at Deloitte in London. And she's also one of our um, subject matter experts when it comes to um, identifying what topics shall we be covering as part of our business intelligence program. And um, she has considerable project experience, so she can really point us. She has really helped us point uh, in the right direction in terms of what kinds of data sets can we include as part of our learning, what kinds of projects can we do with our students, and what kinds of topics can we cover as part of our BI learning. And finally, Adam, he is one of my mentors, and he's also one of our directors. So he's basically a very, I would say, he's a seasoned professional. He has worked in the risk management capacities in various different high street banks, and most recently he's assumed the role of teaching at my alma mater, and he's currently working at an auto insurance company. It's a fintech company again, and they're working on developing uh, a product that allows their consumers to streamline their claims processing. So he has also significantly helped us in introducing us to the various different industry professionals and that has enabled us to understand how can we further um, uplift our programs on an ongoing basis. Moving on, our advisors. So our advisors are our backbone in terms of how we run our organization. Starting off with Dr. Zaki, he's a healthcare professional, and he has served in leadership capacities in various different academic and corporate organizations, institutions, and he has also been a source of introductions for us within Pakistan uh, at different industries, which has again enabled us to identify the various different problem statements of different organizations, which has eventually or ultimately enabled us to uplift our program and streamline it as per the current requirements. Moving on to Chaudhry Suhail, he is our analytics subject matter expert, and he has previously served as the head of data science and digital banking at Bank Al Falah. Currently, he's serving as the head of data science at Systems Limited, which is one of the biggest software houses of Pakistan, and he brings in with himself, a host of uh, analytics experience. Last 20 years, he's been working primarily in this field, and he's also helped us significantly and also helped a lot of our students in their project work and really help them improve their analytics and business intelligence and data science skill sets. And then finally, Sana, she is our advisor in terms of our PR efforts, and she also helps us to advises us in managing our communications with our external contacts. Right. So modules. So this is now the most interesting, one of the most interesting slides of our orientation, because it will really give you a bird's eye view of exactly what we will be covering in the next 4 months. So I would just quickly skim through this slide because I think only Danyyal will be able to do justice to this slide because he knows exactly, and then he'll be able to tell you in more profound detail exactly what we'll be covering in each of these modules. But just briefly touching upon each. So starting from the first module, your first module, which will be for which will be comprising over 6 sessions, so 6 days. We'll be covering introduction to BI and data visualization. So within this module, we'll be covering in profound detail the theoretical part of BI and data visualization, from its definition, from its history, from its evolution, the tech stack that we'll be using, the various different methodologies we'll be covering, and the tools that one can use, and the tool that we will be using as part of the certification. So really the point of this module is to give you an idea of why are or why should you or why are you studying uh, BI, because it's really important to know the why before you get into the what and how. So the first module is really will clear and establish your understanding in terms of why should one do BI today. So moving on, in the second module, we will be covering introduction to Microsoft's Power BI. So this is basically your first introduction or your first, I would say, contact with the tool that we'll be using for the rest of the certification, which is Microsoft's Power BI. So in this module, which we'll be covering over one weekend, which is 2 sessions in 2 days, we'll be covering the different features, the success stories, the integration with other Microsoft technologies, the cloud offerings, its benefits, meaning Power BI's benefits, and its limitations. So within this module, we'll also be covering Power BI's components and architecture, the various different building blocks, such as visualizations, such as data sets, such as reporting, dashboarding, and why Power BI over, let's say, Tableau or Click, or Sisense or Cognos or any other standard BI tools that you may have heard of. So why are we doing Power BI over others? So we'll be touching upon that comparison matrix as well in this session. In module 3, we'll be doing data modeling, reporting, and drill down. So here we'll be doing the theory of the different BI, data models in BI. We'll be making a unique data model from different input data sources. Then we'll be covering the theory of the report drill down and drill up and its relationship to data warehousing and OLAP cubes. I mean, right now it sounds like French to you guys, but like when Danyyal comes, he will tell you a little bit more in like simple English what we'll be covering in this module. Then in module 4, we'll be covering the various different usage scenarios of BI. So we'll be covering the various different charts, which is the highlight of business intelligence, because essentially the executives really like to look at the charts. They prefer looking at charts versus like tables. So this is the one of the most important components of business intelligence, that it allows you to illustrate the various the massive amount of data that you have or that you work with. So, and these are all dynamic. That's the best part. The charts are dynamic. So in this module, over the course of 2 weekends, 4 days, we'll be covering, we'll be working with the various different charts, BI charts, and learning when to use which chart. कि donut chart कब use करना है, bar charts कब use करना है, and so on. So we'll be like in detail, in hands-on way. Danyyal will be demonstrating the usage scenario of each chart to you. Moving on, in module 5, we'll be doing data importing, data cleaning, and data transformation in business intelligence. So in this module, you'll be learning exactly how to import data in BI tools, how to list them in typical data sources format that are available to you guys, or that are probably given to you by your line managers, and how are the different typical BI tool operations work, like sorting, change, column names, create new columns, remove data, etc., etc. So towards the end of this module, which we'll be covering over 3 weekends and in 6 days, you'll be able to demonstrate how to import data, how to manipulate different options, how to do data cleaning, and how to perform transformation activities along with Power BI's Power Query Editor and the Advanced Editor. I mean, more on this when Danyyal joins. Moving on, the sixth module we'll be covering the different KPIs. Um, yeah, like moving on, we'll be covering the different KPIs in business intelligence and the DAX expressions. So obviously, like everybody's aware what a KPI is, right? Like the metric that you are required by your organization to measure the outcome of your process or of your work. So we'll be telling you why it is important for a business to measure KPIs, when to use the different sets of KPIs, and how to determine a KPI. That's the most important part, because a lot of times what we felt when we've spoken with the industry is that उन्हें ये नहीं पता होता कि यार हमें इस डेटा में से देखना क्या है. I mean, they're sitting on a gold mine and they don't even know how to like make sense of this information. So therefore they come up to us with their issues, and then we basically, the first step that we take in KPI identification is teaching them exactly how to determine the KPIs. Because once you know what you want to measure your performance against, everything else is a piece of cake. So we'll be covering that in profound detail as well. And then moving on, like we'll be doing some examples with representative industrial domains, and also developing a relationship of KPIs with the dashboards that you'll be eventually creating. So again, this session is completely hands-on on Power BI, and yeah, so you're gonna have a very busy time in module 6. All right, so module 7, which is the penultimate module, here we'll be covering the data governance roadmap for corporate BI initiatives. So really what this means is that data cataloging जो होती है ना, like that's what you're going to be learning in this, कि how to map your data, and how to develop a roadmap um, in business using business intelligence, which enables you to solve your problem. So by data governance, I simply mean what are the policies that you guys have put in place to acquire your data, to design the different data schemas, how do you store your data, where do you store your data, how do you query your data, and then clean and analyze your data, and then finally you visualize it. तो जो पूरा roadmap है ना data governance का, this is all comes under data governance. We'll be learning from the scope of BI in module 7, and this is going to be a very uh, quick module, because we don't want to spend too much, because this is a whole domain. Data governance, it's called data engineering, it's a whole domain. So we just want to give you the feel of it from the perspective of BI. So module 7 is going to be a really interesting module for you guys, especially for those people who are coming from the industry. Finally, in my opinion, the most interesting module will be the 8th one, because in this module, we'll be doing a formal case study, which will also be a test of your knowledge of what you've learned over the course of the last 7 modules. So here we'll be doing in a hands-on way. We'll be solving a BI problem with either your data sets, or if you don't provide your data sets, then we'll provide our data sets, and you'll be solving a complete uh, you'll be developing a complete hands-on Power BI stack using this knowledge that you've developed over the course of the last 7 modules. And this will be done over the course of 4 days. Okay. So does anybody have any questions so far before I move on? Hamza, everything is clear?
Yes, sir. Everything is clear.
Okay. Chale. Uh, Moving on. All right. So right before we I end my part of the orientation presentation, some housekeeping rules. I mean, these are like some basic rules that we thought we'd just share, because I mean, you guys all probably already know most of them. Okay, each lecture will be happening on Saturday and Sunday, and the timing that we have finalized after consulting everyone is 12 to 3 p.m. So I think it works for everyone, because weekend है, सो के उठ रहे होंगे, तो I think 12 बजे तक सब ready होंगे class के लिए. So 12 to 3 p.m. will be the class timing every weekend, and I would really urge you guys to log in 5 minutes before the class starts, so that unlike today, we can start on time. There will also be a breakout session, meaning a break, since it's a 3 hour lecture, 10-15 minute break during the lecture, and that will be at the disposal of primarily the instructor. But then if the students also request it, you can take a break. So there's going to be a break during the session. Then there will be uh, 2 live sessions, online lectures each week, and we have also put together a policy document for all our students to review and to know. And that policy document is available for you to review on your Google Classroom. So during each Zoom session, if you have any query, or if you have any confusion, and if you would like to speak with the instructor, so for the sanctity of the class and to maintain the decorum, we request you to raise your hand, because the instructor and the TA, they both pay attention to these Zoom features. So once you raise your hand, you will be asked to unmute your mic and ask your question or raise your confusion, and we'll address it. But please do not randomly start speaking while the lecture is going on, because that disrupts the flow and it breaks the momentum of the instructor. I mean, this is something that we have identified after having conducted our online data science courses. Moving on, your mic will be muted for the entire duration of the class. And like I said earlier, whenever you have a question or you want to discuss anything, you can raise your hand, then you'll be unmuted, and you can discuss. But we will mute all your mics at the start of the session, because we don't want to hear any like background noises and like typical things that you hear. Yeah. And then finally, the syllabus, the entire syllabus for the 4 month certification, break in detailed syllabus, the course outline for your first module, and the student policy document has already been uploaded on the Google Classroom, which I hope that you have by now reviewed. Most of you have reviewed it. If not, please review it after this session, so that everybody can be on the same page before our tomorrow session. Okay, cohort engagement form. So basically, the whole idea of this training program, and the reason why we go for like such small cohorts, is because we focus on effectiveness, learning effectiveness, and the quality of our content. And therefore, in order to ensure that learning effectiveness has been achieved or maintained, we require you guys to uh, communicate with us exactly why you are studying this course or you're doing this training. What are your problem statements, so that we can customize or curate this course as per your requirements, so that when you finish this training program and when you go back to your jobs, right, you're convinced, and you are like on the you have the skill set. I mean, you know exactly what to do, and therefore you're able to add significant value to your organization. So that's why we have put together this cohort engagement form to create a tailor-made experience for you. And through this cohort engagement form, we would like you to communicate to us at the start of the course, exactly why you're taking this course, and what some of the common problem statements that you'd like to apply BI on, so that we can curate the experience for you as per your requirements. And by the end of the course, you are completely satisfied our uh, with our teaching and methodologies. So the cohort engagement form, link to that, will be shared on the WhatsApp group by the end of today's class, and the submission will be on Tuesday. So the deadline for you to submit it is on Tuesday. So it'll be a Google form, बस just जाके ना link को click करके भर दें और बस submit कर दें. Like it literally takes 10 minutes to fill up the cohort engagement form. But trust me, like it's a favor that you guys are gonna do to yourself. So yeah. Moving on. So communication. So we have designated portals for communication, because we want to ensure that we know all the pain points and all the concerns and all the different kinds of feedback of each one of you. And therefore, WhatsApp group, you've created a formal WhatsApp group. It's a dedicated WhatsApp group for your cohort, and you can share anything. You can have discussions. It's with your class about any concept. it's a virtual notice board, meaning कि हमारे end से अगर कोई notice आता है तो we'll publish it on the WhatsApp group, we'll share it on the WhatsApp group. If you want to escalate a query, you can share it over there, on the WhatsApp group. So that's your official formal channel of communication with us and with your classmates. Google Classroom link has already been shared with you on WhatsApp. So if you have not joined it yet, I would strongly urge to join it as soon as possible, because the Google Classroom, as I mentioned in the welcome email, it contains all the stuff that you will be learning from us, like the content, the lecture slides, the lecture recordings, um, the quizzes, the homework assignments, the final exams, the projects, okay, everything, even your gradings and reporting, everything will be done on the Google Classroom. So this one code, and that entire classroom will be segmented by your modules, and so it's easier to navigate for you and easier to track your content, your performance, and anything else. Okay, so please join. It's mandatory. Other than that, like just social media stuff, like if you like, we have a Facebook group called FTI Village, where like-minded people such as yourself interact with other people and just share like what's going on in the world and learn from other people of what they have to say. So if you're on Facebook, and if you haven't joined, please join the FTI Village. Please also subscribe to our social media channels, such as on Facebook, Instagram, and on LinkedIn, because on these groups, what we do is that we post on a regular basis all the updates, all the events, basically all the updates that's happening in FTI, and it's important for you to keep up to date, because it could be a job lead, it could be like a speaker series session that you may want to attend, or something like that along those lines. So if you haven't, or if you are on these portals and if you haven't joined our social media yet, please subscribe to that. Twitter, maybe we also have footprint by the name of FTI underscore data science. Okay. And then finally, if you have any query that you think needs to be addressed immediately or in private, you can email it to us. And this email, I have direct access to this, and nobody else has access. So if you have anything that you think it needs to be addressed ASAP, or it needs to be, it's not public discussion, you can, and if it's FTI related, just please write us an email on this email, queries@frontiertechnologyinstitute.com, and it will be addressed within the next 24 hours upon receiving. And then finally, this is the number where you can reach out only for in extenuating circumstances, uh, just like the email. Okay. Okay. So this brings me to the end of my part of the presentation. So before I move, I pass on to Ayman. Do you guys have any questions?
Konain, it's answer here. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, just want the clarity on one thing, that when I'm trying to access the Google Classroom link which you have shared in yesterday's email, I am receiving an error that you don't have access to the classroom. Please contact your organization administrator. Is it something because of access required from your side, or it probably because I'm using my company's laptop, so there might be a restriction due to that?
Ayman, would you like to comment on that?
So you have put in the code and then it says that the access is not, you cannot access it. That's what you are saying.
No, no. When I just click the link where you guys have shown that join your Google Classroom, I'll open the link and that link is not opening. It's saying that you need to contact your organization administrator.
Does anyone else also have this issue?
Answer, you have to log into your personal Gmail account and then you can do it. I couldn't do it either.
Okay, okay, got it.
मतलब इट्स अ
Thank you,
सिंपल
man.
प्रोसेस. आप ट्राई करके देख लें, अगर इशू आते ना तो आप व्हाट्सएप पे लिख दें, देन वी विल रिजॉल्व इट. इट्स आई मीन इट्स नॉट
Okay,
अ
I'll try to open it from my personal email. Then, if still there is an issue, then I'll contact you.
चलें चलें, परफेक्ट. आप डायरेक्टली व्हाट्सएप पे बता दीजिएगा, ठीक है?
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions? Maad? I think we're good. So I guess we can move on to Ayman. So Ayman is our program manager, and I would like Ayman to introduce herself and tell a little bit about her background and experiences and how she will be of facilitation to you guys. So Ayman, please join us.
So, Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. So, I'm the program manager at FTI. I graduated from Bill University in Electrical and Electronics Engineering in 2019. I have been with FTI since like December 2019. So, this is something that FTI, like, I'm really excited about FTI's idea and like what about the vision specifically, because this is something that really motivates me to work with FTI, because the vision is like to create an entire data literacy pipeline, and there is a dire need for it in Pakistan's IT infrastructure. So, my expertise lie mainly in data science and analytics, and I'm working as a technical expertise person and trying to integrate the pipelines for organizations and for FTI as well, so that we can illiterate people in this and help them make good decisions in their organizations. So basically, so I have a diverse role at FTI, and like going into the technicalities of the role would just take time. So I would like to just say about what it would my role according to the, like, for this BI certification, how would it how I can help. And so basically, the idea is that we want to provide quality education, and something that's not just based on academia, but also from the industrial perspective. So my job is to make sure that whatever we are providing is up to the industry standards, and we constantly try to evolve, because this is a practical skill-based learning. So this cannot be something that so it keeps on evolving over time. So your feedback towards what we are teaching and what problems do you face in your organization, or something that you would like us to cover specifically. So those are the things that I am particularly interested in from your side. And whatever, any kind of feedback that you think or you have felt, or any kind of other kind of discussion in terms of the organizational framework of how BI analytics or any other problem where you think that there is a problem in an organization in terms of the data management, data handling, and you think that we can help, or you would like to have a discussion with us. So I will be facilitating in that spectrum for BI. So feedback really matters for us, and we really encourage people to be proactive and like to see if we can help them in some way, or they can help us to improve more, because we are always aiming for perfection, I would say. So this BI certification, we have worked like spent countless hours in trying to decide to make a certification that holistically covers everything from beginner to advanced level. But still, as you know, that this is a skill based thing and industry keeps on evolving. So we would, if you have something specific in mind that you would want us to cover, or you have any suggestion or any problem, so that is, we are here to entertain those. I am here to entertain those kind of things. And Sarah, who's not here today with us because of some personal reason, she will be managing everything, like in terms of the course, like from Google Classroom, uploading the lecture videos, and everything what we cover in class is put on Google Classroom. So yeah, that is yeah. So I am also currently pursuing my master's in data science from IBA, and yeah, that is pretty much about me, I guess. If you have any questions for me, you can ask them before I hand it over to Danyyal. Okay, I guess there are no questions. So Danyyal, you can introduce yourself.
जी बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम मेरा नाम दानियाल अहमद खालिद है I think I understand things have gotten a little monotonous so before I introduce myself let me introduce to you Snowy. Snowy is going to be key in making sure that I stay in the drawing room, that I stay in my room, and that I can effectively teach you guys how to do it. So Snowy has been with me for the last 8 years. Yeah. So khair, my name is Danyyal Ahmed Khalid. Um, I am a graduate of the National University of Science and Technology, and I had my bachelor's in computer science. On top of that, ever since I've graduated, I've been working as a business intelligence analyst. Or I basically started with digitization and digital transformation, and from there on, we understood that the key essential element of everything with relative to digital transformation mostly came. Yani it almost boiled down to data all the time. So I understood for a fact that the business intelligence is a of um, key feature for any organization. It's something that every organization absolutely needs to have. और इसके बगैर normally organizations में काम नहीं होता. So from there on, uh, I would say where my experience diversifies is that in addition to working as a BI intelligence analyst, I have worked as a business process consultant in the company that I've worked as a BI analyst in. So that essentially, as a business process consultant, it was my job to ensure that every single thing that was created in the system, every single thing that was implemented on ground, was created in the system as well. तो उससे ये होता था कि we understood exactly how data falls into which part of the system, which category does it fall into, और फिर आगे exactly how do we use that data to create analytics. So I would say that is probably one of the primary features that I have in my portfolio. So when we later move to business intelligence analyst, I've had the pleasure of working in multiple organizations. We've used Power BI, Tableau, Amplitude, Google Analytics. So इस तरह के tools we are normally using, but for this course we've specifically chosen Microsoft Power BI primarily because from my experience we'll discuss the pros and cons of every single tool in detail आगे जाके, but primarily from what I've seen, Microsoft Power BI is one of the market leaders in all of analytics. Gartner की quadrant top tier right quadrant में भी आता है, और we've discussed this in the info sessions as well. I'm sure you guys were a part of them. So having said that, I was working initially in the manufacturing industries of Pakistan. Manufacturing industry mein kaam tha. I was in ICI. I've recently made the switch to a US based fintech. So it's a Silicon Valley startup. So wahan pe bhi I am a BI analyst essentially, जिसमें I'm from जहाँ पे मैं manufacturing के अंदर on ground processes और कंपनी एफिशिएंसीज मेजर कर रहा था, वहाँ पे मैं एक digital solution की efficiencies measure कर रहा हूँ. So it's an interesting experience. Having said that, this is the kind of portfolio that I have. This is the kind of things that I think where I add value in the entire system is that whenever I tell you something, whenever I try to teach you something, I teach you having the experience of having developed something like that in the past. So that I know for sure कि exactly analytics की requirement किस तरह आती है, किस problem को वो solve करी होती है, और किस solution के साथ वो problem effectively solve होता है. So this is where I add value to your lives. This is where I try to add value to your lives. And as Konain has mentioned more modules का overview देते हुए, I'm going to be very interactive with you guys primarily because mera vision for this cohort was कि यार when we take the students forward from one point, we start with the fact कि यार what exactly are your motivations and what exactly are you trying to achieve from this, and taking that we're going to take every student individually forward, so that by the end of this cohort every single one of you has what you're looking for, yeah, has what you were in the cohort for, right? Let's say let's say if Ansar wanted to understand, if Ansar, let's say, works in manufacturing and says, yeah, I need a solution for manufacturing, और ये मेरा landscape है मेरी company में, ये मेरा role है मेरी company में, और मैं मेरे पास इस type का tool access है. So I'll take Ansar's situation and I'll give him exactly what I'll tell him exactly what he needs to do. IT वालों को जाके क्या करे, डेटा किस तरह ले, क्या टूल को सेटअप किस तरह करे, इस सोल्यूशन का इस तरह KPI बनेंगे, इस तरह डैशबोर्ड बनेगा. सो बाय द एंड ऑफ आवर 4 months cohort, आंसर के पास एक ऐसा सोल्यूशन होगा जो अपनी कंपनी में जाके प्रेजेंट कर सकेगा. This is what my plan is for the cohort, and I hope you guys, and it can only work if you guys contribute to this. Furthermore, to make the most out of the time we have, 3 hours is generally a lot of time. I would suggest that in addition, instead of taking one break, I would say we have two breaks, because for someone like me who's been in a classroom for a lot of time in my life, I do understand that attention span इतने नहीं होते. आपका अभी भी probably में attention span थोड़ा सा waver कर रहा होगा, थोड़ी सी नींद आ रही होगी आप लोगों को. So that happens, that is natural. People don't really have the stamina to, I don't have the stamina to sit in front of a screen for 3 hours. So I would suggest we take multiple breaks, just so we can go and have a sip of water, or Jackie, just freshen up a little, so that when we come back, we have the energy to refocus again. Also, since you guys have invested in this course, since you guys have made a contribution from your earnings towards this course, and this obviously has to provide you the exact value for it, right? And value, essentially, it is our responsibility to provide as much value as we can to you guys, but it only works if you guys are interactive with us. If you guys tell me exactly what are you feeling, what you're learning from it, what else would you want to learn, because from our end, we're going to do everything that we can to give you the most value for your money, but from your end, you need to be interactive as well, right? So this essentially is what my introduction is, and what my aspirations are for this course. Now, essentially, I would like to take this time to basically talk to all of you guys. Okay? I need to understand. I would really like if you guys can give your introductions. Tell me exactly where you're from, what you do, and what exactly are you thinking of. What exactly got you into this cohort? So I'll just start alphabetically, because I think alphabetically sort karta hai Zoom. Anam, can you start?
Assalamualaikum everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so I'm working as a data analyst in United Energy Pakistan Limited. It's a upstream oil company which took over from BP in 2011. I'm basically in the production engineering and production petroleum engineering department, and basically I would like to add value there to see how best they should use their capex and opex to produce get the best projects, get the most production value, and just add value to the business, and try to use the data we have and make value added dashboards out of that. And I've looked at BI a little bit, and it seems a very powerful tool. But I feel the challenge in my company is getting the data in the right format, in the right ways so that it can be uploaded into the BI and be made value added. Because I feel we have a large data sets in different formats, and it can be challenging to arrange that data in the right way. So that's basically what I'm looking at. And obviously, that's one aspect. And the other aspect is, how do I manage that data? How do I present it in the dashboards that it raises questions and then answers for people as well? Because I think a data should also raise these questions, and okay, oh, this is happening in the data company. We didn't know this was happening. Different connections that you previously didn't see before. So you see these different visualizations, but I struggle personally into seeing which visualization should be used, and specifically within the oil industry, for the upstream oil industry, where taking crude oil and gas out of the ground. So basically connecting data at one end and then visualizations at the other end.
That is very interesting. So you said you are currently working as a data analyst, right? So how do you
Yeah.
analyze? How do you do that in your day-to-day operations?
Currently, I've been using what the past analysts were using, basically efficiency related. Like if we drill a well for so many millions of dollars, and how much production we get, and the efficiency of those wells, and the efficiency of various rigorous OPEX works, how that efficiency compares to the past. But I feel that it's been overdone, and there needs to be new ways of doing it.
So
I feel like
which tool are you guys using?
right now we aren't. It's just Excel. There's no tools. Excel and
Okay.
PowerPoint.
All right. I
And
get it.
it's a repetition, and we just move along the same rise. There's no freshness to it, and I feel that is where we're lacking.
Yeah. True. Very true. ठीक है, I'm basically taking notes of what you guys will tell me, so that I can sort of, going forward, I can refer to these and give you exact advice and exact suggestions for what you can do, right? So thank you, Anam. The next is Ansar. Ji Ansar.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
My
salam.
name is Ansar Malik. I am also associated with United Energy Pakistan. I am working in supply chain management department. Previously, I was associated with the warehouse. I am looking after the inventory. Currently, I have moved into office work, but still my major role is to analyze the inventory. We have we have a lot of data. Inventory, we are using two different ERP systems, Maximo and SAP. So one challenge that we are facing is to combine that data. Currently, we are analyzing both the data separately, but we are not using any tools for that data. We are using Excel, PowerPoints, and majority Excel and PowerPoints to analyze the data. We have set some KPIs with respect to inventory. We are also managing a dashboard. We are also managing a dashboard in Google. But then again, it's not what should I say? It's not automated. Every time we need to just gather the data monthly and then upload it into it. So the problem challenge what I'm facing is that we are not using any tool which can give us some summarized format or how we can do. We gather a lot of data, and then based on the judgment call and manual statistics, how to present it. Like Konain said in the beginning that in the later stages, you guys will guide us that for which data to present which charts, because we have to present management in the presentations. So this is a challenge. Sometimes we face that what graph or what format of the data would show the best results what we are trying to show to the management. So that is pretty much it from my side.
Perfect. This is an accurate summary.
आंसर
मैंने
मुझ
काफी
मेरा आपसे एक सवाल है कि आप अभी डेटा किस तरह स्टोर कर रहे हैं जो आप कन्वर्ट करना चाहते हैं विजुअल्स में, इलस्ट्रेशंस में?
अभी तो हम लोग वही एक्सेल के ऊपर जो है वो उसको सेव करें,
और एक्सेल से फिर आप वो जो एक्सेल के जो चार्ट्स होते हैं वो आप बना देते हैं?
कि वो हम लोग उसको एक्सेल के चार्ट के थ्रू मैनेज करते हैं।
ओके हाँ, ये तो बड़ा टीडियस काम है। ठीक
बीच में हम लोग ने मैक्रोस के थ्रू ट्राई किया था, लेकिन वो जो है वो थोड़ी सी फॉर्मेटिंग या फिर वो मतलब रिक्वायरमेंट जो है मंथली बेसिकली चेंज होती रहती है, तो उसके रेफरेंस के ऊपर वो फिर ईच एंड एवरी मंथ वी हैव टू डू द सेम वर्क अगेन एंड अगेन।
नहीं, पावर बीआई का मकसद ही यही है। पावर बीआई का मकसद ही यही है कि आप कोड शोड ना लिखें, आप इजी होके बस ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप करें और वो इट डज अ मच बेटर जॉब। चलें, ठीक है
जी, थैंक यू आंसर। हमजा।
My name is Hamza Tiger, and I am working as a web developer and software developer in a company named 5Cube, and with that, I'm also an internee in FTI, and working on a project of ESX, Market Stay Stock Exchange, and with that, and the motivation for this course is both the stock exchange project, and it might help me in my career in as a web developer, as I'm ERP specialist, and in that I can utilize this uh, skill.
Excellent. Very nice. Let me just write something. Yeah. Thank you, Hamza. Shoaib.
Assalamu alaikum. As you know, my name is Shoaib Ali Khan, and I'm working for UEP Pakistan as a senior inventory analyst. In past, I have also served different oil and gas companies and also the logistics company. Basically, at the moment, what Ansar said, basically Ansar is my co-worker, and we both work on the same level of data. Basically, we are at the moment we are running with two software, that is Maximo and SAP, and the area that I want to learn, that the data that what we extracted from either from Maximo or SAP, we just need to articulate that data in a way that the our seniors or our managers or our top leadership that want to see that. Maybe that persons also don't know how to present that data. They are also what we can say that according to their mind, they are sometimes teaching to us that we want this type in this format, in this type, the graph at that type, the graph of that type. So as the Konain said in the beginning, that how to use the donut chart where and this type of data. And one more important thing, that the data we extracted, we don't actually very much true about the validity of the data. That's we are more concerned about that. I'm telling you the live example that Ansar has a very much command on the Maximo. So he 99% he has the confirmation on the data validity, but when it comes to SAP, so he does not have any much command on that. So he always asks me, or when I use Maximo, I always ask Ansar that what about the data confirmation that we extracted from these softwares, and the secondly, how to present that data in a way that we get the much efficient knowledge, much efficient and effective knowledge, so that our purpose can be fulfilled with respect to time, with respect to our what we can send that we have to present. So these are the things that we want to learn at the moment, and we are
This makes
facing.
sense. Can you guys tell me कि मुझे Maximo के कौन से version use कर रहे हैं आप लोग?
Answer, you can tell.
Maximum was 7.6.
7.6 और SAP?
SAP, I think we are using 7 Pro, I think. I'm not confirm, but I can
SAP
tell you.
D1 कर रहे हैं या ECC कर रहे हैं या R3 कर रहे हैं या S4 कर रहे हैं?
ECC.
अच्छा,
ECC कर रहे
EC
हैं.
में
And now we are going on
S4.
yeah, S4 HANA. So basically, these are our points that we want to, and primarily the main focus that I work.
Yeah, बताएं.
I forgot to tell we have very limited time. We have very limited time to present the data. This is also the main guy. We have very limited time to think about how to articulate the data, and we have very limited time to present, because we have the lineup of emails to get the data and other daily routine works as well. So it's also that the time is also a factor in our job, daily routine job. So I think this is from my
नहीं
side.
बिल्कुल ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं। या एनालिटिक्स का प्राइमरी मकसद यही होता है कि यू रिपोर्टिंग मैनर्स कम करें आप, ठीक है। एनालिटिक्स जब आपकी अच्छी करें तो आपके लोग बैठ के रिपोर्टें ना बना रहे हो, आपके लोग बैठ के एक रिपोर्ट बना लें एक दफ़ा और वो रिपोर्ट चलती रहे उसका, फिर और वो नई रिपोर्ट्स पे काम करें। ये ना हो कि अगर आप हर साल हर हफ्ते के एंड पे हमें सेल्स का नंबर कंसोलिडेट करके बता रहे हैं तो आप हर हफ्ते वही एक्टिविटी करें। तो रिपोर्टिंग का ये मकसद होता है बेसिकली। तो यस इंशाल्लाह आई एम होपिंग वी कैन हेल्प यू लॉट विद दिस। Mad, thank you Shoaib. Mad.
Hello, my name is Maad Saifuddin. I am also working as a data analyst at FTI. My motivation to do this course is to polish my skills of data analyst and BI to the next level.
Very nice.
I found some challenges during during solving the tasks. So my motivation is to polish my BI, all the skills, data engineering related skills, and how to interact between them by this course. Thank you.
You're an engineer, Mad?
Yes, I am working as I am last semester student at DHSFI University Computer Science.
All right. Perfect. Ji. So we've got a very cozy group right now, and mostly सारे UEP की हैं. So we've got 3 people from UEP and 2 people outside of UEP. अच्छा, very nice. So I've basically written down all of your salient features essentially, कि जिसमें मैंने ये लिखा था कि exactly what do you guys do and where exactly do you guys need help. ठीक है, तो what we're going to do with this information whenever I create something in the future now, what I will do is that I will just basically look at the things that you guys want exactly, or फिर मैं I'll just tailor my slides for that, so that you guys can understand exactly कि यार what exactly is, so that I can give you the exact knowledge that you guys want. ठीक है जी, I think we are done with the for the first part. Let's take a 15 minutes break. Let's come back at 1:30. ठीक है, and then we can start the instruction, the class for basically the class for today, right? ठीक है जी, I will see you guys in 1:30. ठीक है Konain, is this how it works, right? This is how it works.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
ठीक है, see you guys in 15.
Thank you, everyone. Take care, Allah Hafiz.